In in the character of the last lesson, I'm speedily coming back to it. First time, two lessons in one day, but whatever, we're here. I'm here to talk about the third lesson. Third lesson is timing. And timing is composed of two components. One is strategic calibration, and two is specific patience. Strategic calibration and specific patience. I'm going to go over them twofold. First of all is strategic calibration. In the sentiment of Green, in the sentiment of Machiavelli, what's most important in confronting the vicissitudes of life is strategic calibration. That is to say, thinking until the very end. Thinking about how every single moment in your life can turn into an opportunistic moment for you to capitalize on. And that's turned into capitalization after the moment presents itself. And that's where timing, specific timing, comes into place. I'm coming on this plane, not out of voluntary kind of disposition to want to speak to people, but out of necessity. And necessity is the art that keeps on giving. Basically, putting yourself in predicaments where survival is not a question of voluntarily deciding to get up every single day, but mandated in terms of almost a maxim, a moral code to survive, to be alive, is what creates moments where the ability to capitalize becomes applicable or pertinent towards the conquest of whatever ideal you have. The things that I can draw on from my life are plenty, and I suppose they will help kind of describe why I think how I think. I come from the United Kingdom, but I do not really. I grew up in Hong Kong, China for 15 years. I was just born in England and I moved when I was 10 months old. And then, I'll be honest with you, I was sold a lie. I was told if I went to the United States and I worked incredibly hard, every single dream I ever had would be accomplished and I would become a very good lawyer. So my father was always supporting me financially and ideologically until, of course, I became too smart. But basically, after, I suppose I'll just speak a little bit about myself. After studying in college for 4.5 years, I realized that the system wasn't necessarily getting me to where I wanted to go. I worked incredibly hard at Virginia Tech. I was summa cum laude every semester, apart from the first and second one. But I basically got into Columbia for 2 summer programs, and I did incredibly well there. Summa cum laude, I studied law, and for some reason it gave me a certain type of headspace that I thought I was entitled to be accepted into Columbia, which I wasn't, which is the reason why I have the video Curb Your Acceptance, where I get rejected from every single school. In the aftermath of some heartbreaking relationships that I succumbed to because I put my schooling in front of every single relationship I ever had. After that, I was filled with this delusion that I'd be able to get into law school. But the same thing happened. I applied to 33 schools and I got into one, which is Tulane. And 2 years into it, my father decided to give up on me. I suppose the job prospects weren't really there or I was incompetent, but the fact of the matter is, I devoted 6 years and some change after college to an ideal that I would become a very successful lawyer and be very affluent and whatever a success you might imagine in that traditional career path. And it just didn't happen. I got the rug pulled underneath me and life kicked me in the face multiple times. Actually, since then, last year has been the most beautiful part of my life, but also the most hell and difficult times. I've never ever earned any income from a job or had a traditional kind of office, you know, exposure. But I always had this hope that everything would pay off. And when it didn't, it it left me with two decisions. One decision was to surrender and live a normal life and become a victim. The other decision was to fight. And the reason why I stand here as the only person that watches these videos, the only person that ever believed in myself, the only person that continues to talk, even though no one will listen, is because I am a fighter. I've never known anything apart from fighting. But to fight, for me, is to live. And there are very strategic, very important strategies in fighting that have caused me success when I have literally had nothing my whole life. Yet I've been able to learn a lot and gain a deeper sense of consciousness through fighting. And this is my point. The fight is the real lesson here. And every single day you wake up, life is an uneven battlefield. It is an uneven battlefield. It is unfair. You are designed you are by design not meant to win. You are by design meant to get knocked out every single day of your life. You are by design structurally oppressed. You are by design not meant to stand up and actually claim the full fruits of being a human being in today's world, because doing that imposes limitations on others. Is don't get fooled into this notion that it's a zero-sum, it's some type of game where there is, you just go about life and you're not going to hurt anyone and everything's going to be fine, and there's no, even the act of inaction is the purest form of action. Actually subjugating yourself and dulling yourself down so others may kind of let their worldview be comfortable is the biggest type of disservice, not only to yourself, but to humanity. Because you don't just hold yourself back, you hold everyone back. And in fighting, you raise the temperature, you raise the playing field, you raise the stakes. And once stakes are raised, you by yourself have to either raise or settle. And I had that choice, raise or settle. And to tell you the truth, I don't know what the hell I'm doing with my life, but I just know every single day I wake up, there's a choice I have, which is to fight or to flee. And I've never been a runner. I've never been someone that flees. I've always been someone that fights. So even though I don't necessarily have anything to say, I have everything to say, because life demands it of me by necessity. And timing and patience is all good, but at the end of the day, don't let it dull out your fire. Don't let it dull out your love, your hearth to survive. Because that conflagration lives inside all of us. It lives inside all of us. And I can tell you, I would not be here today. I would not even be alive if I did not wake up every single day wanting to fight. My father told me to go to the United States a few months ago to help me with dealing with a legal case. I was given a small amount of money to kind of see whether or not it would be efficacious for me to stay in the United States I'm talking about 500 pounds. I landed in the United States and I spent that 500 pounds within 2 days. I did all the court proceedings. I did everything I needed. I stayed at a hotel and I was set for another court date a month from then. I relayed this back to my father, and when he found out, he did nothing. I'm talking about I had no funding in New York at all. And I reached out to the last person that could save me, and he did nothing. What would follow were 2 weeks of hell. I slept in the New York subway for a week and a half. I woke up with no money. I literally had nothing. But I had to survive, nothing but my will. And my point is, that was against all odds. No one near me could have given a damn. I have 3 siblings. No one near me. I have a mother. I used to have a lot of friends. No one near me could have given a damn if I lived or died. And you may say, this is tragic, this is your fault, it's not good, but you got to take accountability. I take full accountability. Because actually, putting myself in that predicament made me a lot stronger. And you might ask how I got out of that. I'm not necessarily at liberty to tell the whole world how I got out of it yet, even though no one listens to this. But I can tell you, it wasn't through someone getting off their ass and helping me. It was through me waking up every single day, stepping up to the battlefield and saying, no, not today. Maybe tomorrow, but not today. And the point is, if you do this long enough, you will become fundamentally a stronger person. And look at me. I really should not have anything. I really should be a nobody. But I've turned myself into a guerrilla warfare bloody tactician because of my circumstances. I defy them. I reject them fundamentally. And at this point in my life, at this stage in my life, I question, what is it that I wake up for? What is it that I'm fighting so hard for? Why am I even surviving? Why don't you just kill yourself? Why don't you just drop dead? And I can tell you, I don't necessarily know. I don't necessarily know, but I just know it's based in the fact that opportunity and chance lies in the present. It lies in the moment. It lies in life. It does not lie in death. It does not lie in dormancy. It does not lie in not doing anything. So me coming into this video, I hope you've understood a little bit about myself and introduced myself. This lesson can serve as more of a life story, but I don't have to go through the fine tunes of every detail of my life to tell you that I worked for 6 years believing that there was going to be something at the end of it and had the rug pulled under me. And I was presented with two choices. One was to surrender to the ideas, limitations, and beliefs of other people and what they had for me in this world, which was a very small, kind of menial ideal of, survive, become. Literally had some of my friends say, you should just become a 7-Eleven worker, or this is someone that's worked 6.5 years, summa cum laude, almost every single semester at every school he went to. I decided no. I broke down the doors of Harvard, MIT, Yale. I went there without being accepted. I went into the classrooms. I didn't necessarily speak, but I let my presence be felt. And I have to tell you, there's a significant difference between being accepted and enrolling into an institution, carrying out your prerogative day in and day out, and just fulfilling whatever kind of is put in front of you, and breaking the damn doors down when they say no. This is the question that's presented to all of us. Power. I have no power over outside events. I have no power over how people will perceive me. I have no power there. But I do have power to decide what I want to do with my life. And to tell you the truth, I've lost everyone. I've lost everything. I have no one. My own mother, my own father, my whole family. I have 3 siblings. No one. I used to have some of the closest friends ever. All gone. Just a fade, a memory. Every love interest I ever had, ignored, gone, walked away. And you question why. Why has life brought me these circumstances? That's a wrong question. The question is, what am I to do about it? And once you start to get into this terrain, you realize there's only one option, and that's to fight. So I stand here before you, pleading to support not just my channel, not just how I think, but my ideology. Because this type of ideology is responsible for creating the Colosseum. It's responsible for creating edifices. It's responsible for not taking no as an answer. And I can't put this camera down. I can't stop because I'm going to be silenced. Fundamentally. Never. And I'll tell you the truth. A lot of time I walk through life and I have to take a step back and realize the perceptions of me by people in the world at large are incredibly negative. They're incredibly Machiavellian. They're incredibly predatory. How can we expose this? This person is a nobody. He's a nothing. You can't do this. You can't do that. And the only thing you should do when this type of energy is directed at you is rejoice. Thank you. Thank you for giving me your limitations. Thank you for giving me that. Because it's going to give me all the disadvantages needed for a successful life in the Larry Ellison mantra. I'm not going to come here and say that I'm successful by any mechanism. I'm not going to come here and say that I'm a genius by any mechanism. But I can tell you that in my heart, and in my mind's eye, I believe I'm one of the most successful people in the world, one of the most intelligent people on earth. And you may call me an ass, you may call me hubris, you may call me crazy. But at the end of the day, the only thing that type of thought is going to do is going to make me attack life that much more violently, that much more with an edge, that much more sagaciously, if that's the right word. But I just I feel the need to let someone know, whoever is out there, whoever is watching this video, that it's terrifying out there. It's a big bad world. We're talking about life and death. But do not let that for 1 second dissuade you. This is a game for keeps. This is a game of opportunity. Do not settle. Just keep raising. Because at the end of the day, never let someone else's light outshine yours. You have to use that as a reason to simply shine brighter. Steal the flint. Steal the fuse. Ignite the conflagration of the night's eye. And fight. For the love of it. For the love of me. For the love of yourself. Fight. Because there simply is nothing else in this life to do apart from fight. I can tell you that if you fight, you may not win. Failure is almost guaranteed. But I can tell you, if you never step into the arena, if you never question whether or not you could win, then you have lost by default. And you have succumbed to the limitations other people have imposed upon you by actually limiting yourself because of the very fact that you no longer are yourself. You are simply the perceptions of others' views on you. And when you think about it like this, it becomes almost insidious and inimical to not fight. I cannot tell you where I plan to go the rest of my life. I cannot forecast the weather. I cannot forecast if I'll be happy, but I can forecast that it's going to be bloody. It's going to be, a massacre, maybe on my side, but it's going to be in the trenches. It's going to be in the mud. It's going to be dirty. And because of that, because of that dirt, one day we're all going to look back and we're going to say, I never ever, I never ever had the belief or view that Zachariah Roydell Robertson would 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 fact of the matter is I've been here so many times. I've been betrayed, I've been hurt, and after a while you stop feeling um or feeding the flame that is responsible for your destruction. I know not whether or not I will be successful. I know not whether I'll be a failure, but I do know that I'm gonna fucking find out.